Hello, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Getting to Know You. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Leah Lalor. She is a pediatric dermatologist and assistant professor of dermatology at the Medical College of Wisconsin. She's also the vice chair for PeDRA's Acne Focus Work Group, and she's authored several publications and has many projects going. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Lalor.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to do it.
So just to get us started, give us your background. How did you come to pediatric dermatology? What inspired you? Tell us about you.
Sure. I made it to pediatric dermatology in kind of a roundabout way. I got into dermatology after a few tries. So for those of you trying to get into dermatology and having a hard time, I am proof that if you just keep trying, you can do it. So it took me a few tries, but I got into dermatology. And when I was telling my family about matching into dermatology and how excited I was, they asked me, well, what next? Is it just dermatology or is there more to it? And I said, well, there's a few fellowships and specializations in dermatology. I suspect I'll just be a regular run-of-the-mill dermatologist, but I can tell you for sure that I won't be a pediatric dermatologist.
Famous last words, right?
Right, exactly. And so what actually happened was I went to the University of Cincinnati for my residency, loved it there, and totally fell in love with pediatric dermatology at Cincinnati Children's. And so while I was there, I just decided this is definitely for me, applied for fellowship, and ended up going to do fellowship at UCSF, which was an amazing year. And so now here I am at Medical College of Wisconsin, Children's Wisconsin, and loving it.
That's a great story. I love that your perseverance paid off and you found where your heart is happiest. Can you talk about the work that you do for the Acne Focus Work Group?
Absolutely. I'm really honored to be the vice chair of the Acne Focus Group in PeDRA. I love PeDRA as an organization. I'm really inspired every time I go to the meetings or participate in any work with PeDRA. And so really excited to be part of the leadership of this group. It's really an inspiring group of people who have come together through their interest in studying acne, which does seem like, why do we need to study acne? Like, we've got good meds, it's been around forever, it's super common, but actually we really don't understand the pathogenesis of acne as well as we like to think we do. And we also don't understand exactly how to use medications that we've been using for decades in different groups of people. As well as its safety in the pediatric population. We have plenty of data in adults, but not a whole lot in pediatrics specifically, even though it's primarily a pediatric disorder. So it's been really fun and inspiring to learn from the research interests of the folks in the group and to also help move along those projects in a collaborative way.
Yeah, collaboration is so helpful in really all the research that PeDRA is doing. So it's exciting to be a part of it and watching it happen. I guess going back a little bit, what got you interested in research in the first place?
That's a really good question. I've never been really formally trained in research or super heavily involved in any kind of basic science research or even formal clinical trials or anything like that. Really what inspires me is seeing patients in clinic and realizing that I don't have all the answers all the time. And so I want to find clinically relevant solutions for real people that I see every single day. And so that's what inspires me to do research, is coming to conclusions based on real life situations.
And then so fitting that, that's the way you feel about it. And then to have you as the vice chair of the acne group, it must feel like you're actually able to put your hands on some work and get it done and watch it come to fruition so that it can get back to your patients.
Exactly. It's really exciting. I think a lot of the people in the Acne Focus Group are real practical minded people, really interested in real world solutions for real patients. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's really fun listening to people brainstorm about like, well, I came across this problem in my clinic and I got to thinking about it. And actually, maybe we could do a study if we had enough patients. And so are there any other people who want to partner with me on this, and then it just really gets the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And I especially like how we have the support of the administrative folks in PeDRA to help us keep things moving forward. So it's not just us busy clinicians focusing on research, which is really hard to do for most of us.
It's so hard. There's so many demands on your time. You have your clinic work and you've got, let alone your family lives, right? And then to add that research component that isn't necessarily protected or not funded, it's hard to get really anything done in those kinds of scenarios. So I it's a lot of fun for me on the administrative side to watch the work happen and to come to fruition, knowing that we've sort of had a hand in lifting that up a little bit. You guys are doing all the heavy lifting for sure, but if we can just hold you up a little, that's our main goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really helpful to have that administrative support because there are things that I know how to do, and then there's a lot of stuff that I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's hard for me to like you said, focus on this thing that is not much in the way of protected time. And so when you have clinical demands taking over and bleeding into your academic time, the time that you want to spend brainstorming and working on these cool projects, things that are inspiring you,
Mm-hmm.
it can be really, really helpful to get those nudges and that small boost assist from administrators like you and the other folks at PeDRA.
Good. I'm glad. Can you talk about like your most inspiring project that you've worked on thus far, or maybe the one project that you were like, oh, that was the one. I loved that project.
Sure. One of my favorite things that I'm doing right now is studying the use of isotretinoin in treatment for acne.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've been using this medication for about 30 years now, so it seems like it's something that we should understand,
Right.
but actually we don't understand it very well, and the data is not very good how to use it and proper dosing strategies. In particular, a thing that I'm very interested in is because this medication is done on weight-based dosing. So we use different doses based on how much folks weigh.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's actually not been studied well in folks who are of higher weight. And in fact, most of our studies don't even mention like they mention the range of weights, but they don't give you like the exact distribution and who weighed what and like how tall they were, like their BMI.
Okay.
Um, and so I'm really inspired by trying to figure out whether our dosing strategy for this medication actually works and is safe
Mm-hmm.
in folks who are in those higher weight categories.
That sounds fascinating. When uh, when is the project due to wrap up, I guess, and how soon can we expect a publication?
Well, we're actually writing the manuscript now.
Yay.
My students and I were fortunate enough to get our poster accepted at the last PeDRA meeting. And so we did get to present it there, which was very, very exciting. And so we are almost done with our manuscript now to submit. Because the study itself is done, but it was a retrospective study on
Okay.
just our own institution. So
Okay.
not a multi-institution collaborative project, but my hope, my dream is to apply for some funding to do
Mm-hmm.
um, a prospective clinical trial where we use different dosing strategies in different people and then can report on safety and efficacy in folks on a range of weight.
Aha. So can you tell me a little bit more about why this is important for the patients?
Absolutely. One of the most important things that we do as clinicians is not just treat our patients for their problems, but also keep them safe,
Mm,
right? So it doesn't matter how good the medicine that we give them is to fix their problem if it's not safe for them to use in the way that we generally do. We know that medications can affect different people in different ways, and sometimes weight makes a difference,
mm,
or other health status as a relationship to perhaps weight.
mhm,
And so um, it really makes a difference if we understand how to use this medicine. In particular, if we're using a weight-based strategy, it can extend the course if we're underdosing them, or
mm,
it could be unsafe if we end up overdosing.
mhm.
So super crucial that we understand how to use this medicine.
Absolutely. I love that the priority is safety for this particular study. But I think there's a lot of really good information I'm sure you're gathering, and I can't wait to read the publication. And more than anything, I really hope that you get funded for a prospective study. I think that would be fantastic.
Me too. We're looking forward to it. Trying to figure out exactly how to make it happen in a way that makes sense.
Absolutely. No easy task. Funding is a hard thing to do.
It can be, that's for sure. It's a lot of work.
Yes, yes, it is. Well, before I let you go today, Dr. Lalor, is there any kind of hidden talent or personal item that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Sure. Well, I'm really excited that we got to do this today, Jen, because as I think you know, I am very near the end of a pregnancy. And so I'll be having my little girl here in, I mean, maybe 3 weeks if
Oh
she's
my
very
goodness.
timely. So we're really, really excited about that. I have a 2-year-old girl at home who's eagerly anticipating the arrival of her little sister.
Oh, well, congratulations from all of us at PeDRA. It's so exciting. We love those PeDRA babies. So let us know when she makes it here and what her
I
day.
sure will. Thank you so much. We're thrilled.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Dr. Lalor. It's been wonderful learning about your work in the Acne group and getting to know you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to do this with you today. This is so fun.
Thanks so much to Dr. Lalor for joining us today. Be sure and check us out for more of these interviews on the PeDRA app, which you can download in iTunes or Google Play. Search for PeDRA. Download us and you can find our live webinars. You can find past education information. You can also join the focus work groups and be a part of our discussion board and community. The app is a great place to get up-to-date information and a wonderful place for you to connect with other members of the network. You can also find us, though, on Twitter at PeDRA Research, and you can download our podcasts on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts.